is
Zaza.
Oh, yeah.
Fitzy and
Sweet as.
Wippa.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
How's it going, funky sisters?
Really good.
Love to know if you've accidentally fallen in love. Like when you least expected it. You know what I mean? You trip over something and you look up and there she is, waiting there, staring into your eyes with a hand to help you up.
I've accidentally fallen in glove.
No, that doesn't
what you're
work.
talking about?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
It was a room, there was a few other couples in there. It was really weird.
That's not what we're talking
Tell you
about.
one thing I couldn't do the next day, and that's walk.
Okay, well, you grab a seat, mate, because that's got nothing to do with the story I have about one woman who sent a text message.
Took me 2 weeks to walk again.
How it resulted in love was just amazing. This is probably the most beautiful love story.
Still quite tender.
Okay, mate. This is the most beautiful love story I think I have ever heard.
Don't think I'll walk again.
Please enjoy.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
Do you know what? I want everybody listening right now, if you are single, just have a look at your left shoulder. You can't see anything there, but you should be carrying a little bit of hope. Because you can find love, and you never know what it's going to happen.
You've got a packet of Sandboys on
I
yours.
do not have any chips on my shoulder. It's not bad. I do not have a chip on my shoulder. If you wander into a room today and there's a surprise person that could possibly be there, maybe that is the love for the rest of your life. You never know when it's going to happen. That's the exciting thing about this world.
I can tell you one thing, though. When you're not looking for it, that's when it does happen.
Do you know the best time? When people go, and I'm quite surprised, but quite often women will come out of a bad breakup and they go, you know what? I'm off men for a year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bang.
I'm not into it. I'll stay out of it. I won't date. I won't accept any offers, and I will not be going for a couple of cowboys down at the local with something.
And then bang, they write out their application for maths.
And they find love instantly and embarrass themselves and disgrace their family. This is a story about Brenda. Now, Brenda is a religious lady, and good old Brenda, she was...
No, I can't. Can't do the joke. Can't do the joke. Times have changed.
2023.
It's an old name, though, Brenda, isn't it? There's not many young Brendas these days, is there?
No. No one looks at a baby girl these days and says, oh, she looks like a beautiful Brenda.
It's a great name.
That's my perfect blender. So, here's the thing. Brenda sent a message which was a caption from the Bible. So, some words, some beautiful words from the Bible to her sister. But the thing was, she got her sister's phone number wrong, and receiving the message was a guy called Bruce. Bruce wrote back, God bless you.
Oh, so he was into his scripture, was he?
Yeah, he was. He appreciated the words. They then started to talk. They then sent Bible passages back and forth.
Oh, this is so
in one of the most religious flirtation exchanges I've ever heard of.
John 3:16, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Gideon's verses chapter 1,
You
verses
know any others
6 to 9. Yeah, James and John were the fishermen from the Bible.
Yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and
Eclestics.
Oh, I used to play
Elastics.
Elastics at school.
No, it's a different thing. It's a different thing. Well, at school, we did a lot of reading from the Bible.
Ecclesiastics?
Ecclesiastics. Ecclesiastics.
Yeah.
That'll do. I still don't know what it is, but we did a lot of chapters from the Bible, the good book. In fact, when we graduated school, believe it or not, even with a TER at the time of 16.6, I still got handed a Bible to say, well done, you've completed.
Where is that now?
I am still reading it, still got it by the bed, the good book. Well done to the Gideons on handing them out. Anyway, Bruce, so turned on by the scriptures she was sending, then flicked it out there.
What?
As a sign from above, he said,
What passage
as an
is that?
act of fate, and said we should meet for a drink and maybe a further exchange. This accidental text message landed Bruce a wife in Brenda, and the two of them are now married with 6 kids.
Bruce and Brenda. That is an amazing story.
Sitting in a
isn't
tree.
it? Like, I mean, you would not... Your advice isn't just to text random people on your phone.
Passages of the Bible.
The odds of you finding the love of your life is very slim.
I'd have a crack at it. Do you know what? Bruce had only got a new phone and a new number that morning. So if he hadn't have got the phone number on that day, These are the chance and coincidence stories we love.
Yeah.
We were talking about this yesterday. What are the chances?
I think it's a new feature on the iPhone as well, isn't
What's
it?
that?
If you just send out a random text messages, that they find the people that you love.
It's not
That's
bad,
how
is it?
good the iPhone is at the moment.
Wouldn't it be good if there was like... That's quite clever. Like random numbers that you can post the same thing to, and you can choose, like, for $1, I want to send this text message to 100 people. And random numbers, and just see what you get back.
That's advertising, isn't it?
Yeah,
Advertising
it's a spam
yourself
message.
full of
I think
what's
it's the thing
not.
that the people hate more than any single thing in the world is that exact service.
What, if you were sitting at home, MDG, as a single man, and you got a passage from the Bible, as if you wouldn't reply, "Talk to me, Lord."
A passage from the Brenda.
What would you say? "Forgive me, for I have sinned." Again. Poor de Groot.
That is an amazing
If
story.
you have a story about... And that's what I'm talking about.
When you
Because
weren't looking for it.
You weren't looking for it.
An accidental love. Yeah, I like it.
Like, it just happened to fall into place, and then you look back on all those moments in time that led to that one moment, which put you together for the rest of your life. Like, that is a love story. There's a movie in that, Tommy,
Yeah,
I reckon.
Yeah, or a phone topic. I mean, let's start with the phoner first.
Because if
And
the
then
phone
work
doesn't
out.
go off,
Yeah.
the movie probably
Well, don't
wouldn't be a hit.
look at the phoner as a pitch for the
just
movie.
got a message from Stan. We'll bankroll that.
See, there you go.
I've
That's
got-
better
I've
than
got
the
one.
Notebook.
Well,
I've
let's
got
do it
one.
after.
You've
Let's
got
do it
one.
after.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What, you want to hook Matt de Groot's story?
Yeah.
You think it'll be that
Let's-
good?
It's better than Brenda's story.
Wow. I'm on my way to work. I can't get out of the car. Don't go anywhere. But if you've got a story of accidental love, where did you find them? How did it happen? Hayley and St Ives. Tell us your story, Hayley.
Hey guys, so I was living in London at the time, and a friend of mine said to me, "Do you want to go and see Madonna in Paris?" And I said, "Yeah, of course, I'd love to go." And she said to me, "The only problem is there's one room left on the tour group, and you're going to have to share with a strange man that you've never met, that we know." And I said, "Well, it's Madonna in Paris, so I'll do it." And a few weeks before the concert, I was at a bar and I met this guy, and we went on a few dates and we fell in love, and it turns out he was the guy I was going to be sharing the room with in Paris.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
19 years later, we're married with 2 teenage kids and 3 countries later.
And you got to see Madonna in Paris as well,
Yeah, we
Hayley.
got to see Madonna in Paris too, which was obviously a bonus.
That's even better.
That's sort of the boring
That's
part
bigger
of the
for
story.
me. I mean, that's when back. Well, when was
Doesn't
this,
matter,
Hayley?
mate.
90s at a peak.
This was about 24 years ago.
I'm not-
Madonna at a peak
that's-
playing Holiday. What
that's-
other Madonna songs do you
That's
have?
not the interesting part. So,
it is for
and,
me.
you know, how many dates in, Hayley, did you realise that you were both going to be on the Madonna tour and sharing a room?
It was we didn't even talk about it until we both said, and probably about 4 dates in, we were like, "Oh, I'm going to see Madonna," and he said, "Me too,"
You're
and then
kidding.
we kind of figured it out.
Well,
That is an amazing story.
I told you about the 2 best friends who left London and they went over to the States for the first time. They were going to New York and they were on standby on the plane. Remember
Yep.
that one?
Yep.
And they were told, "Look, it's a pretty full plane. I don't think that you're going to get on." And then last minute, one gets a ticket. So they're all crying.
Oh, that's right.
Thinking the other one wasn't going to get a ticket. One goes onto the plane. The other one, last minute, someone's pulled out. You get onto the plane and they both walk onto the plane together. They find out that they're sitting next to each other on the final row of the plane. So they're all celebrating these
Yep.
2 girls. One of them sits down and there's a redhead guy sitting next to her. She turns to this guy and they fall in love straight away.
Isn't that awesome?
She burns her best friend on the trip to New York.
Don't worry about the friend.
And then they become...
Tommy, aeroplane love is another
Lovers.
great topic if you want to do it tomorrow. I mean, what about our friend Amanda who was flying Qantas and she jumped on a flight and thought, "Oh my God, I'm sitting next to a stranger, I can't be bothered talking." They're now married. Aeroplane love is a hot topic. MDG, what was your accidental love story,
Yeah,
buddy?
it blows Brenda right out of the water. So back when the internet first started, like your old dial-up, modem dial-up,
Yeah, I remember
we're
those
about
days.
11 or 12. And Sam Peake was our mate, was the first one to have the internet. And he jumped on and downloaded MSN Messenger, which was how you chatted back then. Most people didn't know that. Who were
Yeah.
young. But didn't have anyone to talk to because none of the rest of us had the internet. And so he did a reasonably genius thing and he's like, "Well, I'll go onto the Dolly message forums." And just
Dolly Doctor.
back then, if you posted on the forums, it put your email address as well. So he was able to grab a couple of email addresses of people and put it in his MSN Messenger
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey, you've got the internet, I've got the internet. One of the girls they added was a girl called Shan who lived in Sydney. We were in Coffs.
Shan.
That was 11. They are now married with kids.
No way.
And thank Dolly Doctor and the internet for that.
Great story.
It's okay. The
No,
story's
it's
okay.
Way better than Brenda.
It's not better
This
than Brenda.
required the internet
it's
to be
absolutely
created.
not.
Yeah, no, and
It's not better than Brenda.
Better.
and he went and did the hard work by going to the Dolly forums, which I was heavy on.
Yeah, me too.
And mate, he's found, and you know what? He's found an email address. Doesn't mean you're still going to fall in love with that person.
Not even close.
I mean, it's weird that he's still reading Dolly. That's
I
all.
used to read my sister's Dolly.
So did I.
Dolly Doctor was a.
Jeez, that gave
was
me
a-
an education.
That was a religion in itself, wasn't it?
Do you know what? Although I read an article one time that a woman wrote, I'll never forget this, and it scarred me big time. It said that all hairy men should be rounded up and moved onto an island by themselves.
That was me. I submitted that one.
And I was like, I was like 11, right? And I was starting to get really hairy, like snail trail under the arms, pubes and things. And I remember reading that going, for one, is that going to happen? Right? I honestly thought, could that happen? Monobrow. And secondly, is that how people of this world view my type?
Yes.
I was isolated. I felt lonely.
It's not a bad idea.
I felt-
Is there an island
What do you
up for
mean?
grabs, Tom, that we could
Cockatoo
make?
Island? We could pop him on there from tomorrow.
Rounding up the hairy men of Sydney.
Hairiest men of Sydney. And then we're all on boats just
All
having
right,
a
mate.
party, just
All
laughing.
right, Hairy Fest 2023. Okay, mate.
my gosh, you can plat his back! Book for Holiday U this summer.
Because Aussies act a little different on holidays. More daring, relaxed, and sometimes more fancy.
And What If has all kinds of accommodation to suit your style.
Book your next getaway on the What If app. What If? It's Aussie for travel.
Yeah, overnights. I do love this. I mean, radio, talkback radio, we get up very early to come in here, so when we're driving into work, we listen to overnights as well. Mid-dawn is a shift where do you know what blows my mind? The amount of people that ring in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definition of loneliness, isn't it? But you're right, Fitz, you do it on a road trip when you tune into the local radio station. It could be any time of the night.
great.
People are still calling to say hello. I was wondering if you knew when the water rates would drop.
MDG, you're going to love this as well. So this is up in Brisbane. It's mid-dawns in the middle of the night, and the guy gets one of his regular callers, gives him a call, and this is what happens.
John's in Queensland. Morning, John.
Good morning. I've still got COVID,
And you're fully recovered, John, from your COVID bout?
well, when I got COVID, the carer that looked after me, I ended up sleeping with her, couldn't help it, and I took a Viagra, it nearly killed me. But one tadpole got loose, and now I've got a 2-year-old kid at 79.
Well, there you go. I never expected that to be the outcome of someone getting COVID.
Right. It's extraordinary.
79 years of
What a
age.
weapon! He just couldn't help himself. It sounded like things went from bad to worse.
Unbelievable. Actually, they were saying as well that there might be new medication as well where where women can have will still be able to get pregnant at a later age.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I hope John's not coming round to your place.
Isn't that crazy?
What a weapon! One tadpole got away, did it, John?
And he's had a blue little pill to help him, and it's nearly killed him. His heart rate's gone through the roof.
All his blood's dropped.
I mean, it just would have been an amazing time for that probably couple of minutes that he was there, but now he's a father again at the age of 79.
Sounds like he was almost hoping to die a happy man in the act of it. But then to call a radio show to tell the listeners as well.
Listen, the way that it just rolls off his tongue so quickly. Can we listen to it again?
John's in Queensland. Morning, John.
Good morning. I've still got COVID,
And you're fully recovered, John, from your COVID bout?
well, when I got COVID, the carer that looked after me, I ended up sleeping with her, couldn't help it, and I took a Viagra, it nearly killed me. But one tadpole got loose, and now I've got a 2-year-old kid at 79.
Well, there you go. I never expected that to be the outcome of someone getting COVID.
Right. I mean, to think also that the carer was so caring that here's a man with COVID and still she was willing to go there.
Unless he did it with the 1.5 metre socially distanced policy
Wow.
adhered to, in which case he's an
Now that-
absolute weapon.
That's impressive stuff.
know what?
Played by the rules and still got the job done.
I mean, that child won't realise till it's about 5 or 6. John's going to be 84, 85, even if he gets there. I'd love to do an older parents call. No, older parents.
Oh, no. Just when you said I'd love to do an older parent, I thought that was the end of the sentence.
No, if 13, 24, 10, how old were your parents when they had you, or one of them?
Yeah.
Because there is age differences as well. I mean, you can always have an older dad. Dads can go on and they can have kids older in life.
Yeah, but I thought even at the age of sort of 72, 73, that sure you might be able to take the little blue pill, but I didn't think the swimmers were still active. I thought they were on a banana lounge somewhere.
John's 79.
I think
and
they're
it's still working.
Yeah, I think they're still
kicking around, are they?
Yeah.
Still going all right.
I had no idea. I mean, there's a lesson in that if you're out there and you're an older gent. You need to be careful, but you're right, Fitz. How old were you when maybe you got someone pregnant?
13, 24, 10. How old were your parents when you were born? Halita's given us a call from Maruba. How old were your parents when they had you, Halita?
Hello, guys. My father was 72.
72? What a weapon.
Yeah, my mum, she was 44. She was divorced with 5 kids.
Oh, my God.
My father was a widower with quite a few kids as well, but they all grown up.
Halita, what's it like having an older dad when you're born? You know, and you know, you usually you rely on your old man when you get to the age of 10. How was Dad then?
I know. No, it's quite a complicated story because my father, he was a wealthier man. He was a farmer from coffee back home in Brazil.
Yep.
And it's a small town. So the kids from the first marriage, they did not accept me at all because they didn't want to share the heritage whatsoever.
Of course.
So I was just allowed to see my father on the weekends when my older brother wasn't home. He was at the farm.
Yeah.
So then I was allowed to go there for a couple of hours and spend some time with him. My dad was away in a wheelchair after a couple of years.
Yeah.
So, and from what I remember, he was very loving and caring, and that's the only memories that I have.
How old was he when he passed?
80.
80.
And I was 8. Yeah, I was 8 years old.
Halita, did you get any of the coffee empire?
Nothing at all. Actually, his oldest son shot my mom when she was trying to get any heritage for me.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
Did your mum survive the attack?
She did. He shot her twice. And
oh, my God.
she ran for her life. And thank God she survived. But I've got not even one single coffee drop away.
And is she with...
But I love coffee anyway. But, yeah.
That's good, as long as you're friendly with your local barista.
Coffee.
And is your mum still alive?
Yes, she's still alive. She's right now, I think she's 85.
Oh, good effort, Halita.
that
That's
is
amazing. 72.
Speaking of old people and doing outrageous things. No,
Not
it's fine.
old.
It's crime. Like the 82-year-old the other day who got arrested for cocaine transportation.
You're kidding.
82 years of age and she's still just trying to drug run. Like these old people are getting it done.
Isn't it true? You're never too old. Never write them off, mate. These senior citizens, they can get any job done, be it the bedroom or be it a couple of kilos of the good stuff.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
You know what? It's not very often that you get to get your hero on the radio. And you know what? I've watched this guy perform up on stage for such a long time, and Cosmic Psychos for me are one of the best Australian bands of all time. But this guy, he just can't stop. He just doesn't stop creatively writing songs, and then he gets ideas in his head and he decides to write a kid's book. It's called The Incredible Tale of Little Roo, and it's the lead singer of Cosmic Psychos. It's the magnificent Ross Knight. Nighty!
True. Thank you very much.
Now that's just a sound effect, Nighty. If you're trying to work it out, that's a heap of people clapping. I was clapping, but there's no one else here in the studio.
Right, because applause is something I'm not usually used to.
Cosmic Psychos, you're coming up to 40 years, Nighty. You've been in the band.
Yeah, nearly 40 years for that carnation of the band, and then a few years beforehand with a few other sort of spin-offs or spin-befores.
One of the first times I saw you was 1995, 1996, Ross, was at the Big Day Out. You actually played before a band called Silverchair. Now, this is when Silverchair was 16, 17 years of age, and they exploded in Australia, so much so that on this sideshow, you had kids hanging from rafters watching you, Ross, waiting for Silverchair to come on.
Oh, it was good for us because we hadn't played in front of that many people before, so they were... No, it was like Beatlemania hit overnight. overnight. It was kind of a little bit. It wasn't quite the same as the Nirvana thing because this crowd was just so young, and they were crazy, absolutely crazy.
Did you teach these young boys anything backstage of that big day out, Ross? Because they had their parents and that there, but what did you boys teach Silverchair?
Well, I said it first up. I realised they had their parents there, so I explained where I'd left them a few stubbies. We kicked a footy backstage, and then the parents intervened saying, "You'll break a finger." So then we took them to the underground car park where the drummer at the time, Bill, was doing donuts in the Tarago, and they said, "Gee, how do you do that?" So we put them in the Tarago and taught them how to do donuts in the underground car park.
That is brilliant. I love that story. And
they didn't even have their L plates by that stage either, I don't think.
Can you tell us about the incredible tale of the Little Roo and how this come about? Because you do live out in the middle of nowhere. You're out in the sticks. So what is your association with this kangaroo?
Well, I was coming home from work one night. I have a very good relationship with kangaroos up the bush. Yeah. There's me, the kangaroos, and Verica's panel beaters in Kyneton. So you tend to bruise a few every now and again. But there was this little bugger right in the middle of the road, and he wouldn't get off. Yeah. And he just right outside my farm. And I just thought to myself, just do yourself a favour, mate, and at least paint a white line down the middle of the road. Yeah. And then end of story, and that was it. And I just woke up in the morning and I went, "Oh, I think I've written a book." And then I sort of thought I'd written a few books, and I was almost too embarrassed to tell anyone. Eventually I told Wezzo about it. He did his usual eye roll, but then got back to me going, "Talk to me about this story you've come up with." And it just sort of rolled from there over a few years, really.
Gather around and pull up a chair. I have a story that will curl your hair. A tale so tall it's hard to believe it's true. It's the incredible tale of Little Roo. It is great. I've given it to my young fella. Lenny loves it as well. Matty Weston, like you said, is a good mate. He's involved as well, and illustrated by Louis Fuzzhound. You can go get the incredible tale of the Little Roo now in any good bookstore. It's written by Ross and Matty Weston. I love you, mate. You're a great storyteller. You're a great performer. You are actually playing next Saturday, Ross. You're playing at the Crowbar, and you're doing a bit of a signing for the kids' book as well.
Yes, I've got a week to learn how to write and read, and I should hopefully sign some books. But Wezzo and Lewis will be up there, I think, so you'll get a good lot of signings.
You're a legend, mate. Thanks for coming on the show.
Good idea, mate. I'll see you next Saturday for a beer.
Thank you, Ross. And if you want to go check out the Cosmic Psychos, they are on tour at the moment. They're playing at the Crowbar in Sydney this Saturday night, and also March 18 playing down at the Port Noarlunga Footy Club.
Isn't that your footy club?
Yeah, yep. Nice day to go to the club festival. You can go get your tickets from the Cosmic Psychos Instagram page.
You're listening to the Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
One man who is under the pump with his job at the moment is Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe. Imagine rocking up to work today. Every paper is after him. I mean, everyone needs a dollar at the moment, don't they?
Don't they? Do you know what I think? People are more angry. They're not only concerned about where the interest rates are going to stop because they've said there's going to be more hikes coming. They're more angry about the fact that he said there'll be no interest rates increase till 2024.
I want to talk about this.
How do you get that so wrong?
Because this is what he had to say yesterday.
I get a lot of people writing to me at the moment, telling me about their personal circumstances, and it's really, really tough, and we understand that. And, you know, I read those letters and hear those stories with a very heavy heart.
You're right, Whip. This was the thing. He did say, I mean, this was in 2021, he did say that they weren't going to raise, well, they said, I've got to clarify this because they said they won't raise the rates for another few years because we need to get businesses up and going coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So he tried to explain that one as well, and he said, oh no, if you listened closely, we didn't talk about 2024 at all. This is what he had to say about that.
What we said was we thought the pandemic was going to have long-lasting disruptive effects on the economy that would keep inflation low, would keep unemployment high for years, and we wanted to do what we could to prevent that. And that meant that we were likely to keep interest rates low for a long period of time, out to 2024. So it was conditional. It was not. We did not make a promise.
Conditional. Conditional.
But you know when that blew up, right, and everyone was going, oh, they're not going to raise the rates until 2024. There was headlines everywhere, and that's when everyone went and borrowed.
Yeah.
And everyone fixed in,
100%
interest rates. And home loans, they fixed, and the debt just went through the roof. That's when he should have come out and seen the writing on the wall and said, hey, guys, settle down a little bit. I don't promise you that. Don't go out borrowing more money.
I couldn't agree more. He should have said, guys, if it's conditional, then let's assess what those conditions are, and you need to make that decision, but here's how I see it. The thing is, too, you look at the news this morning and the Combank have got a $5 billion plus profit.
Yep.
Right, and I know that happens, but there should be a ratio built in where if the stress levels on the home loan, right, for the majority of people and the analytics behind how people are going with their repayments don't match, or the ratio is too stretched to the profits made by the bank, well, then the bank needs to contribute and subsidise for the people who are under the pump.
They have never done that in their lives.
I know they haven't.
And this is the thing.
But how can you come and congratulate a boss who's, profited, and there they are, Combank, with a $5 billion profit?
Well,
it's not even takings. That's profit.
The profits will keep going up for the banks. This is the thing. It will keep going up.
Well,
they're not going to look after us.
It needs to be handed back.
You need to do your research. You need to do your research, and you need to look around. And I know it's hard because it's a lot of work to change banks, but at the moment, if you are really struggling, unfortunately, you'll be saving thousands by going to the smaller banks.
Yeah.
And going and getting a home loan with them.
Tom, have you thought
they'll give you better rates.
Have you thought about whether Fitzy and I could successfully put out and publish a financial advice?
Oh, like
Ross Greenwood almost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I stumbled my way through explaining a ratio that I made up on the spot. But I think people would be interested to hear. Got some further thoughts on boats and racehorses too.
Would you read that book, Whip? That might be the first book that you read, the book that you write.
It's kind of ironic that his name is Lowe, isn't it? When unfortunately we that's what we want. I mean, we had Lowe for such a long time.
There was a party.
We all knew at some stage it was going to go back up. It's not stopping either. This is the thing. Like, everyone thinks that we're putting pressure on him. He won't stop. There'll still be another couple of rate rises.
And he's always got the backing to be able to say, guys, I'm trying to avoid a recession here. Do you want to go into recession? Low, 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 low.
Oh, well said. Darren Hinch over here.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
Mark Anthony, remember him? He went out with J-Lo. He was married to J-Lo. He also did this song with Pitbull.
Of course I remember, mate. This is still my ringtone.
So Mark Anthony is 54 years of age. He's expecting his 7th child with his 4th wife.
Mark.
Nadia Ferreira is her name. She's 23 years of age. He's 54. She's 23.
Oh, shut up. I love this bit, mate.
She's pregnant.
Come on, Mark. Put it away, son.
So he's got a 29-year-old daughter. He's got a daughter that's 6 years older than his new wife.
This is the same guy who started dating the Topshop heiress Chloe Green, and he was great mates with the guy who owned Topshop.
Oh, her dad.
Yep. Just started dating a mate's daughter.
Oh my! So Leonardo DiCaprio, we're focusing on him a bit at the moment, but oh my gosh, Mark Anthony's the man.
Jeez.
7 children with 4 wives.
When Mark walks into the room, get out, girls.
How do you say to your mate, hey, Timmy, I wouldn't mind asking your daughter out.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that?
Can I bring my new girlfriend to dinner?
Who is she? Well, she actually already lives here. She's already there.
Yeah, she's in the 3rd bedroom on the left. What, my daughter? That's impossible. No, it's not. I've been seeing her for a month.
Hang it up. I mean,
get out, Mark.
I thought Pitbull would do something like that, but no, Pitbull's actually got...
He's a good guy, mate.
He's got morals, values.
And he makes great music.
And he does. 2 girls, 1 night, English, Spanish. Why haven't we not heard from Pitbull for a while?
Yeah,
Tommy, what's the update on the bull?
I think his tequila's going really well, Tom, isn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't need to make music. He had a great chat with you guys when he came in here.
He did.
What about when we met him at the hotel that time, Fitz, and he was in his suit, and we sat down, just the 3 of us, and he had a bottle of his tequila on the table.
A man who can pull off a nice crisp chino so well is Pitbull. I mean, he did the interview with his top off and his chinos on.
Remember there was some controversy. He did a film clip where he was on a boat and he took his shirt off, but his rig didn't really compare to a couple of the other dancers on the boat. And everyone was yelling out, Mr. Worldwide, I see white's wide.
He was more St. Bernard than Pitbull, to be honest with you.
He was more of a lazy old Labrador that couldn't get in the back of the car.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
Bit disappointed by this because I think when you propose to the person that you love, you got to put a bit of... you've got to sit down, do a bit of research, come up with a great plan yourself, surprise them, and it's all you. I didn't know that there's a company called The Proposers, where they do the proposing for you or come up with a plan with you.
We've tried to do that on the show a couple of times, where someone rings the show saying, hey, I want to propose to the loved one, and we go, right, how can we help? How can we get involved?
We did it once. Was that on X Factor, Tommy?
Yeah, it was on a set of X Factor on the stage during a show.
And he came out and auditioned, and his fiancée was future fiancée was in the crowd. And then he auditioned, and she's going, oh, my God, that's my partner.
Yeah. Think I want to marry you.
He was a horrible singer.
Doesn't matter.
And then at the end of it, he proposed.
Do you know the other thing, too? I don't think women understand how many hours go into, how many hours go into the moment. I mean, you've looked at over 100,000, probably a million different diamond rings before you make that decision, too. Yeah. And then you've set up the whole moment. Do I drop a knee? What am I going to say? Do I put the ring on her finger?
Well, this is what the proposers do for you. But you're basically cheating, but you need money to do this because it's quite expensive. Daisy Emoto, who is the founder of Proposers, she goes through some of the proposals. The most expensive one was $2 million.
What, to the company to organise it?
A guy hired out Disneyland Paris for the day and then got their faces beamed onto the castle of Disneyland.
It's a marriage. Settle
down. It cost him $2 million.
What a waste of money.
Another man wanted Queen Elizabeth II to take part in the proposal. When I told him we couldn't get the Queen, but we can get an impersonator, he told me that was outrageous, hung up the phone. There's other ones as well. Here we go. We've got... there's one of them, they had to dress up 50 cats in costume.
Oh, my God.
Another one, they had to project faces onto Niagara Falls.
Was that Cats the musical? Did they get Cats to come in? Rob Tugger and Jason, his name? Jason Derulo?
No, thanks.
That would be horrible. Maybe it was a flash mob.
This is the big one at all. This is the big one out of all of them. One guy wanted to play a prank on his partner. Classic stitch up. When they were on holiday in Barcelona, he made me hide oregano in her pocket. Okay. And then we set up undercover police who arrested her.
As a herb.
She was crying her eyes out while he was laughing hysterically. They put him in a lineup with a load of guys and he got down on one knee in the lineup.
I don't mind it.
She was petrified, but then she started laughing and she loved it.
Worth the money. That's money well spent right there. You can also think, for the person that wanted to get the Queen involved, there's a whole lot of celebrities at your fingertips with the power of Cameo. If you wanted someone like Tara Reid.
So good.
Tara Reid to get involved.
Tara. You can get anyone these days. Snoop Dogg does Cameo. He's quite expensive, but you could get him.
I think The Rock is on Cameo.
No.
If you wanted The Rock to get involved.
The Rock doesn't need to... He's the highest paid actor
but imagine
in the world.
Being able to go, hey, honey, here's The Rock, and here's another Rock.
Can you imagine The Rock finally getting a couple of days off the set, and then at home, his missus coming in and going, mate, you've got 45,000 cameos. All right, let's start.
$20 a pop.
Hey Dave, happy 40th, mate. The Rock here.
G'day, Craig. Good luck at your footy presentation night. That would work. I reckon what's important about a wedding proposal, right, is that it's come from you, and the ring also is a representation of you as a couple at that moment in time.
Yeah.
So many people go too hard on the ring, and they blow the budget on the ring when it should represent where they're at together as a team at that moment in time.
Well, you blew way too much.
You don't know how much I spent.
Yeah, I know.
You've got no idea how much I spent.
I do, and you could put a deposit on a house for it.
Yeah, but she loved it, and she had it changed last year.
Well, that's the thing. She wanted to change it.
She was so wrapped with it, she waited 5 years.
Wippa goes, yeah, it represents you. And then Lisa goes, I don't really like it.
No, so it represents what you thought I was. So you call that a misrepresentation. Oh, that's all right. MDG, you went very hard on the ring, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that cubic zirconia was massive.
But I remember you and I were talking about this at the time. Yeah, you wanted to mortgage the house and you were stealing money from down the side of the couch.
Obviously neither of those things happened, but I wanted to extend myself to give a ring that I thought was worthy of the love, whereas you put the onus on, this is a ring that suits the time of life we are, and you'll upgrade down the road, whereas I go, well, this is the only ring I'll ever want to give you, so I want to give you the ring for the life that I want to give you. So I've been in crippling crippling debt ever since. But otherwise,
that's
really
okay, mate.
romantic gesture.
Always here for advice.
Well done.
Always here to help.
Sierra Leone, it was a beautiful
The Fitzy and Wippa Show is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.